lovely lawn and a small graveyard. So just wait for it. A lot of anticipation. So the sun lined up with the cupola and an eagle perched on the cross. So the bald eagle is more common in Alaska than in any other state. In fact, I believe they have more than all other states combined in Alaska. On the island of Unalaska, they seem to like hanging out near the church. In this photo, I got a bald eagle perched on both crosses. The interior of the cathedral, the main altar is dedicated to the Holy Ascension. And as I had mentioned earlier, the icons were taken from the church during the evacuation. The icons were actually painted on fabric in Russia before the revolution. And when they were taken with the people into an internment camp, which is where they were placed with the evacuation, they were getting moldy. So the people put this mix of shellac and oil on the icons, which unfortunately darkened them in this way. They can be restored, but once again, limited funds. Other sacred objects that they brought with them during the evacuation, which lasted a couple years until the end of World War II. The archway heading toward the south chapel. And this is the north chapel. I was told that these royal doors were made by St. Innocenti himself. The view from the choir loft, the bell tower. This icon was given to the Unalaska parish by Tsar Nicholas II in 1910, which demonstrates the continued support by Russia for the church in Alaska, even after the territory was purchased in 1867. The woman in the middle is Julia. She is a reader, and readers are very important in Alaska because there are many, many more parishes today than there are priests. So many churches do not have regular liturgies. In the case of the Aleutian Islands, even though this is a cathedral, there is no resident bishop. There is currently no resident priest either. The priests have to travel from island to island. So Julia handles the reader services, and she'll also open up the church for you if you visit, and the bishop's house. So this is the church. Right next door is the bishop's house, built in the 1880s at the request of a Bishop Nestor. And the components of the house were produced in San Francisco. It was shipped up to Unalaska and assembled there. Unfortunately, Bishop Nestor, on his way to Unalaska, after the house had finally been completed, fell off the ship and drowned in the Bering Sea. So he never got a chance to live there. It fell into disrepair in the 20th century. In the 21st century, it has been restored. Lovely sitting room. The first floor is now used as a trapeza for the parish. And on the second floor, visiting clergy can stay overnight. And when you go up the stairs, the angle of the windows are such that it looks like the water is coming right up to the windows. And throughout the house, you have these lovely illustrations from events in the lives of the American saints. This is when Saint Innocenti befriended an eagle. And this is my little encounter with a bald eagle when I was crossing over this bridge. It landed right there. And I guess it's best to end a trip on a bang. So I was there for July 4th. The Aleutians get sort of dark after midnight, so this was probably around 1 a.m. They really can't do fireworks before midnight. It would be too bright out. So finally, it was time to leave Unalaska. This is leaving the airport back to Anchorage. I made my way to the cathedral for one last liturgy in Anchorage, and then flew back to the East Coast. So before I wrap this up, I just wanted to share some words of wisdom I learned from this priest. This is Father Michael. He is Yupik. He grew up in Kwethluk, so he knew St. Olga as a little boy. And he told me about Yupik values. And once again, the primary value is respect, is sacrifice for others. And to remind oneself and to remind others of the perfect Yupik, which is Jesus Christ. The second value he talked about was humor. So apparently humor is very important in Yupik culture, and he tied humor to gratitude, which I thought was an interesting connection. And the third value is respect for elders. So he told kind of a dramatic story that illustrated this concept. Apparently, he wanted to work on this project that was going to benefit the community, and he thought he'd ask his cousin to help. His cousin had just lost her daughter. Her daughter had died. And the elders told him, do not ask your cousin to help you on this project because she needs time to grieve the loss of her daughter. But he felt it was too important, so he asked his cousin to help, and they were working on some kind of machine, and half of his thumb got cut off. And so this was during the winter, so they jumped on the snowmobile and headed for the hospital. With typical Yupik humor, he told me his cousin drove too slowly, so he pushed her aside and drove himself at 80 miles an hour to the hospital, but it was too late. So his thumb could not be repaired. And he basically concluded with the idea that, if you don't listen to your elders, bad things can happen. So to conclude, Alaska can be a rather harsh place. However, the land and its people can also be very inspiring. And I think the best words that can be applied to Alaska to sum up my experience were the words of St. Olga herself when she appeared in a vision to someone as they looked out over the northern lights, which is, God can create great beauty from complete desolation. So if you haven't already looked, I brought back some items from Alaska. If you visit Alaska, you'll find a lot of souvenirs are not made in Alaska. So try to find things, if you can, that are made by local artisans. And as for this particular item, I will briefly demonstrate. So this is a men's headdress. It's worn on festive occasions by men of the Alutiiq Sugpiaq tribe, which is the people of Kodiak, and it's made with a variety of media. As you can see, the main decoration is salmon skin. There are also trade beads. This is the kind of bead that was introduced to Alaska by the Russians. Along the trim are dentalium shells, and then the trim itself is sea otter. So sea otter is the densest mammal fur in the world. That's why it was so desired in the 19th century. It is illegal to commercially harvest sea otter, but the native people are allowed a certain limited amount of hunting to use in their traditional clothing. So, are there any questions? Yes.
Well, that's an amazing presentation. That was really, really well done. From the rat brass dessert all the way. with the Kamchatka, you know, I saw the Kamchatka and there was a big earthquake. How did everybody
That's
make
after
out?
his visit.
Oh, it's after.
Yep.
Yeah, I had just come back before that, but
Well, no, I
did,
know that, yeah, I'm asking, yeah.
I did get in touch with the people I knew there, and fortunately,
They're okay?
yeah, they're fine, yeah.
And then one more question with the spinning stars. Is
Yeah.
that astronomic? Is that something that
They
is
do
an
that in
effect?
Ukraine too.
It's not an
Yeah.
effect or anything that from the?
Yeah, I know, they take pride that it's an Alaskan tradition, but I guess in parts of Ukraine they do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it might have cosmic origins, but it's a nice tradition.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Anything else?
The churches you visit on St. Paul,
Yeah.
do they have active liturgies there?
St. Paul also does not have a regular parish priest now, so they have reader services and then visiting priests.
Thank you very, very much. This was so great that I think you should become Bishop of Alaska. And we'll all go there to
I brought back, these are icon cards of St. Olga, which I placed on her reliquary in Peaklook, so if anyone would like an icon card, can take one. So thank you all for your patience.
Public on Facebook. So
Oh.
your albums on
Oh,
Facebook,
okay.
you can perhaps make those publicly available.
Okay,
So that not only your Facebook friends can see them, but everyone.
okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Chris, for taking us on a journey with you to the remote islands of Alaska and introducing us to those very interesting communities. And like, it was such like an interesting anthropological trip today.
Oh, thank you. And, you know, I'm glad you all came to Synod in the summer for this event. And also we have other events at Synod. So we're having a cooking class series. If anyone wants to learn traditional Slavic cooking, you can find out about that. There are flyers outside.